mother...
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Psychopath Exposure, where we explore and dissect narcissist personality disorders, psychopaths, sociopaths, and today we're going to be talking about America's favorite psychopath narcissist. That's right, arguably America's favorite. But we're going to be talking about Dexter Morgan. That's right, Dexter Morgan is back, and I'm very excited to be talking about this. I just watched Dexter Original Sin last night. I watched it twice. That's how much I loved it. So we're going to be diving into that much anticipated premiere. It's a prequel, okay? It's a prequel for you guys that are familiar with the Dexter world. Dexter Original Sin, Episode 1. It was called And in the Beginning, There Was Blood. So this prequel takes us back to 1991, Cesspool, Miami, exploring Dexter Morgan's early years and the genesis of his dark passenger. Now, for those of you who are new here to this channel, we do specialize in analyzing psychopaths, narcissists, and their behaviors. I think Dexter is the perfect case study for this video. So we're gonna dissect the opening scenes, which, by the way, that opening scene was everything I ever wanted in the whole world revolving Dexter, okay? And yes, there is gonna be some spoilers. I will let you know right before I talk about the spoilers in case you guys haven't seen it yet. But that opening scene was everything I wanted, and I'm just so excited to tell you guys all about it. But we're also gonna evaluate the portrayal of the younger version of Dexter, the younger versions of beloved characters in that show. We're gonna analyze the show's atmosphere, the music, which was key. The music is always key in making a series good. But we're also gonna delve into Dexter's emerging psychopathic behaviors and uncover intriguing details that set the stage for this new chapter. As you can tell, I'm a total Dexter fanboy, and I'm very excited about this. I can't contain my excitement. I wish you would have seen me last night when I watched it. Oh boy. Anyway, spoiler alert, spoiler warning. Here we go. We're diving into spoiler territory. So if you have not watched Dexter New Blood, which I highly recommend you do, considering how the terrible finale that Dexter season 8 gave us, it left such a bad taste in our mouth. So I hope you watched New Blood. I thought it was great. I thought it was spectacular. I thought the villain of New Blood was one of the best villains in the entire series. Not the best, but one of the best. I would say like top 3. We'll get more into that later, but if you haven't seen New Blood, so there's gonna be some spoilers here, but that's it. That's my warning. Anyway, if you guys haven't heard, besides the prequel, Original Sin, there's also Dexter Resurrection. It's another show that's coming out, I believe, at the end of 2025. Michael C. Hall is also going to be in that show, and we're not sure whether he's going to live or if that show is just going to be, he's going to be a ghost in Harrison's life. You see, what happened at the end of Dexter New Blood is that his son Harrison shot him with a rifle, and that was the end. Dexter died at the end of New Blood, or so it was perceived. The show didn't show anything. That's funny. We never saw any hints that Dexter was wearing a bulletproof vest. They never showed anything that could set up his survival. So I know some people are not gonna be too thrilled about that, but I don't know how happy I would be with a series that revolved around, because it will be a spin-off at this point if it follows Harrison's dark passenger, and then Dexter is a ghost, just like Harry was a ghost to Dexter in the original series. I don't know how that would work, if it would be as captivating. I'm sure it would be interesting, but I think as a longtime fan, I would prefer to see Dexter continue what he does, how he cheated death, how he survived, and maybe he tries to find Harrison again. Maybe Harrison does become a serial killer like him, and the dark passenger haunts him even more because he killed his dad, or he thinks he killed his dad. I don't know if they're gonna bring back Hannah. Supposedly Hannah died, but I'm hoping that she faked her death somehow, some way returns. But the first 5 minutes of Original Sin set up that series. Dexter lives, okay? Dexter lives, and you see him at the beginning of the show. He's rushed to the hospital after being shot by Harrison. So it takes off right after New Blood finished. And Dexter hovers between life and death at that moment. You see him, his eyes are like halfway open, and he's never experienced death before, at least not from that point of view. His life starts to flash before his eyes, and then it transports us back to his birth on February 1st, 1971, and then swiftly moves back to up to 1991, when he's a pre-med at or the University of Miami. So this transition not only bridges the original series with the prequel, but also sets up a reflective tone, emphasizing the pivotal moments that shaped Dexter's path. So I really love that it shows that Dexter was taken to the hospital, they did get a heartbeat, and that the show possibly is going to continue with him alive. And I do like the whole flashing, his whole life flashes before his eyes, and he goes back to his childhood, and he goes back to how it all started for him. I think that's really cool. I'm very happy with the tone of the show. It feels like a Dexter series. It doesn't feel like some spin-off that's trying too hard. The actors, we're going to get into character analysis now, but I feel that the actors have done such a good job of portraying their younger versions. Patrick Gibson does a stellar job of portraying a 20-year-old Dexter, okay? He captures Dexter's darkness, that social awkwardness that he has. There's this particular scene that he's at a frat party, and some chick tries to like randomly make out with him, and he freezes. He doesn't know what to do, and then she's like, "Hey, are you gay or are you not interested? Which one is it?" And he's like, "Girlfriend." He does that little social awkward little girlfriend type of thing that he would do, and it's like, wow, like that was pretty cool. It gave me, I really felt like that was him. It's not only those little subtle nuances that he does that work, but it's Michael C. Hall's voice is being used for Dexter's inner dialogue. So when you see him doing what he does, and you're hearing that inner dialogue, is Michael C. Hall. So it feels like you're watching a show right from the original series. It's great. Just sometimes I don't even notice that it's happening. It works so well. I'm captivated. I'm drawn into the story. I'm not distracted by anything that wasn't done right. There wasn't anything that took me out of it. I was hooked from the moment it started. I felt like that was really younger Dexter. His facial expressions, his mannerisms, coupled with that inner dialogue, voiceover by Michael C. Hall, I think works really, really well. We talk about Harry Morgan, which is played by Christian Slater. Now, Harry was Dexter's adoptive dad, and he brings a lot of depth to the character. We're hoping we get to see a lot more police work from him later, but in this first episode, it shows a lot of the internal struggles that he has guiding Dexter through his dark passenger. You see that he takes some hunting, and that's like a ritual that they had, so he can go out there and I guess kill some animals to get rid of that urge. But you see, at this point in the show, Dexter is like, "Hey, this is not working anymore, Dad. This is not working for me anymore. I still have those urges. I need something more." And you see how Harry is struggling with that realization. He's like, it has to work. You know, you have to go to med school, and you're gonna cut up bodies in med school as you're training, like doing autopsies or dissecting bodies and things like that. The show opens up with, after the first 5 minutes that show when Dexter was taken to the hospital. When it goes back in time, the show opens up with a younger version of Dexter cutting a body up for the first time, and all the students, the pre-med students and the instructor and the doctors are there watching, and he does an impeccable job. And he even tells the instructor, he's like, the professor, he's like, I did it and I didn't feel anything. Is that weird? And the professor's like, that's what makes you special. So imagine that. So he's basically telling them that he's doing this act, right, of cutting a human body open, albeit a dead body, and he doesn't feel anything. A lot of times in my channel, when I'm talking about psychopaths and narcissists, I mentioned that like high-tier psychopaths, a lot of these surgeons in today that practice surgery that are really, really good at what they do, and they have a steady hand. I believe a lot of them are psychopaths. And that doesn't mean that they all have some vigilante dark passenger and they're doing things like Dexter, like in this romanticized version of a psychopath. But I do believe that it takes a certain type of person with a certain type of personality to be able to be a surgeon, to be so precise and so calm, cool, and collected, and not to feel anything that a normal human being would feel when messing around with other people's organs, when doing open heart surgery and seeing the blood and the heart pumping and all these organs there, and just know how close to reviving the human you are or killing them by accident. If you mess up, they die. So I liked that they showed that Dexter became he went into like he went to UM to study that, to get good at that, and he was really good at what he did because he lacked that empathy, and he lacked just that general human emotion that most people would just spaz out and what's that word, the vasovagal, when they see at the sight of blood. But Dexter embraces the sight of blood. He embraces that. It fills him. It gives him like narcissistic supply in a way. Debra Morgan is played by Molly Brown, and I gotta say, I really liked what she did and what she brought to the character. She embodies that spirited nature of a teenage Debra, capturing her rebelliousness, the vulnerability that she has at the same time, the evolving relationship that's portrayed with the dad and with Dexter alone. She's always like, damn it, Dexter, like she tries to hug him, she tries to get support, and Dexter just is incapable of offering it to her. And you see the frustrations that she used to have in the original show. You see the same frustrations here. You see how they started. It lays that groundwork, right? But the best part are the F-bombs that she drops. That's what Debra was known for, just dropping those F-bombs, just that language that she just can't control. It's just the way she is. And I think Molly Brown did a great job of bringing that out and really studying the character. And I felt, I was like, yep, that's Debra. There's not a doubt in my mind. I can see how this person is going to wreck her life with all the drinking and all the irresponsible behaviors that she has. You can see the struggles that she has. I can see her spiraling into a dark place for sure. So I think she did a very good job. Vince Masuka was by far the most uncanny presentation of a younger version of Masuka that from the original show in comparison to all the characters. Masuka nailed it, right? Nailed it. If I didn't know better, I would actually have believed that the scenes that he was in were filmed 20 years ago when he was actually younger. He nailed the laugh. That laugh was, oh man, every time he does it, I'm like, yup. How did he pull that off? Just every little mannerism, all the little nuances that he does, the cringe things that he would say. Oh my gosh, there's this one part when you first see him and he sees like some goth girl. Remember, this is 1991, and he's like, hey, would you like to see my 9-inch nail? And then she rolls her eyes and he calls her a poser, which, we used to call people posers back in the 90s when they would pretend to like a certain style of music, but you can tell that they were just pretending. They were like tryhards. So, oh man, it was so good. So it's just an uncanny performance. Very happy that he studied the character so good. It was played by Alex Shimizu. Oh man, just see, it's things like this that really make me happy, and that's why I'm so ecstatic about this show. I cannot wait to see where it's gonna go. We also saw Angel Batista, but he didn't get much screen time. He's played by James Martinez. He looks like a younger version of Batista for sure. He's a little thinner. Batista used to be a little more stocky in the OG series. But I would imagine that as the series goes on and he gets more screen time, I would imagine that he's going to sound and act like the Batista that we all grew up to love. So I'm looking forward to that, but there wasn't much of it right now, so there's not much to say. We also didn't see Maria La Huerta. She wasn't even in the show, and that's going to be played by Christina Milian. I think that's how you pronounce it, Christina Milian, but she wasn't in this episode, but we're definitely going to see her later. Sarah Michelle Gellar was also in it. She was in the forensics department, I think, with Masuka. Not much of her. We'll see if she takes a pivotal role or if she's just gonna be cast out of the show or somehow written out early. But let's dive into the actual vibe of the show. It's set in the cesspool of Miami back in 1991. Some of the cuts of the songs that you hear are You're Down with OPP by Naughty by Nature. You hear Vanilla Ice, Ice Baby is played. So they got the music right. That was pretty cool. The visuals just felt like the OG Dexter. There's a lot of things in the background if you pay attention. Remember, it's in the 90s, so in the house, like you would see the old blenders, the old toaster ovens. You would see just a lot of furniture and stuff that you would see in the 90s. It's kind of subtle. It's not like Stranger Things where they went out of their way to make you really feel like you're in the 80s, but the Easter eggs are there, little things like that when you notice and you're like, oh, look at that. That's right. That's the way it used to look. It still takes place in Miami, so they're getting new footage of Miami and they're trying to make it look like it used to be, so you have to be a little more forgiving sometimes. The show looks modern because it's shot with today's technology, but it feels like the old Dexter. That's one of the big things. It feels like the old Dexter. So we're going to get back into spoilers. So we're going to be talking about the plot right now. So far, the plot, of the premiere of Original Sin, it's going to be handling with the internal conflict as Dexter navigates through the whole premed studies and all the homicidal urges that he has. But the pivotal moment arises when he identifies a pattern linking multiple murders. That's when he first sees Masuka. It's like a job fair type of thing, and there's a booth, and Masuka has some images of like forensic blood spatter images, and Dexter connects them. He's like, hey, is image number what was it he said? I think he said image number 7 and 12, are they the same, or are those by the same murderer? And Masuka blows them off, but later at the end of the show, they actually invite Dexter. They offer him an internship, a paid internship, and he tells him, he's like, you were able to connect that within minutes. It took us a long time to do that, but you connected it within minutes. So that was pretty cool. The plot thickens when Harry suffers a heart attack. That's when things get scary, and he's rushed to the hospital. And Harry doesn't want Dexter to kill anybody yet. He doesn't want him to go down that path. He says that once that path is open, once you go down that path, it opened up another can of worms that he doesn't want for his son. But it's actually that health scare, that heart attack that Harry suffers, that propels Dexter closer to embracing his darker instincts, hinting at that moral code that we all know about the original series. So what happens is there's the nurse that's treating Harry. She's injecting him with meds, and it seems that Harry, instead of getting better from his from the cardiac arrest that he suffered, he's getting worse. So in one of those scenes, you see Dexter is just walking down the hall, and he notices that a patient just died, and the family is crying and they're hugging each other, and then one of the family members hugs the nurse, which is the same nurse that's treating Harry, and he sees her smirk behind that woman's back. She sees that evil smirk, and Dexter's like, hey, wait a second, what the heck is that? And he sees when she removes the name off the door, like the patient has deceased. And he starts connecting things, and he recognizes, or he figures out, more than recognizes, he figures out that this woman is collecting trophies. There's a scene that she's reading the newspaper, and she cut out an article from the obituary, and it's the same patient that just died. So he starts connecting things, and he realizes, hey, wait, she also has a dark passenger. Holy crap. So he does some investigation, and he goes back to his student labs. He asks the professor if he can use the machine to run some tests on a syringe that he took from the hazard, that little thing where they dump all the hazardous materials. He steals that, and he goes back and he runs some tests, and it's a potassium nitrate they find. And the professor tells him, he's like, no, like this is harmful. This is not gonna do anything to you unless it's administered to the same person every single day at this high dose. Then it could actually kill him. And he's like, whoa. So what she's doing, she was injecting Harry with the potassium nitrate, and over time your health starts to decline until eventually you die. So it cannot be traced just the way the body works, as the professor was explaining, it cannot be traced. No one will know that was the cause of death. So it was really clever. So Dexter, that's it. That's when Dexter's like, he tells Harry what's going on. He stops the nurse from injecting him. He tells Harry, look, what she's injecting you with is actually killing you. And Harry tells him, he's like, no, you gotta stop her. Don't let her do it. Stop her. And that's it. That you see Dexter's eyes at that moment. That's that look. We know. When I saw that look, I was like, here we go. Here we go. And that's what kicks off. That's what kicks off that code, Harry's code, to only take out bad people. So he sets up the kill room, and yeah, it's a little awkward the way he takes her out. He covers his face and he starts stabbing, and it's juxtaposed with footage of Debra in her volleyball game that Dexter was supposed to be at, but he bailed because he was taking care of business. So it was interesting the way they juxtaposed both at the same time. But he did what needed to be done, okay? And you got to see his first kill. Even though we kind of saw his first kill in the original series too, there was a flashback scene that showed it, but this time it was in much more graphic, much more detail. And so Harry survives. He gets better. They all come. They take him back home. Deborah's all happy. She has him in the wheelchair, spinning him around, and it looks like everything is gonna be okay. And so, towards the end, Dexter gets a haircut. He's offered a job at Miami Metro. He gets introduced to everybody and the familiar office that we all know and remember. There was a couple of people that were missing, and one of them in particular was Sergeant Dokes. I didn't see Dokes yet. I hope we get to see Dokes at some point, but it's pretty cool. I'm very happy with the way the show was. There were a lot of Easter eggs sprinkled around the show too. There's a lot of foreshadowing that I was happy to see. I think they really did their homework with this prequel. I think a lot of fans are going to be happy. There was always going to be the haters where it's not good enough, where they shouldn't have done it. Let me know in the comments below if you're one of those that you think it sucked and you think this shouldn't have been made and blah 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 blah. I would be very happy to debate that with you. But I think they did a good job. I think they did a good job for the first episode. I think it checked all the boxes that it needed to check off, at least for me, especially the first 5 minutes, letting us know, hey, Dexter lives and he survived the gunshot wounds, and in Dexter Resurrection, we're most likely going to see him. The story's probably going to take place with him in the hospital. When he gets out, he's probably going to be sent to prison, and maybe he's going to have something's gonna happen. Maybe he's in prison, he tries to escape, or the CIA hires him to catch bad guys. Who knows? But I think it's gonna be an interesting series when that does come out. I don't think it's gonna be more of the same. I think it's gonna have a twist, which is what we need. You just can't keep repeating the same thing over and over again. So I think it's gonna have a twist, but I'm happy to know that he's alive, right? And that makes me enjoy even more the whole Original Sin prequel. Because up to this point, I was like, he died. Now they're just trying to milk the series, and they're going to give us this. But what we really want is for him to live and continue doing what he does. So I'm happy to know that he is going to continue doing what he does. He did survive. And now when I watch Original Sin, I feel like he's in a coma in the hospital, and his whole life is flashing before his eyes. I hope that in the upcoming shows, it cuts to a present time of Dexter, and you see him in the ICU, you see him recovering, you see him in intensive care, you see him in the coma, whatever it is. I hope we just catch glimpses of it to keep the show, to keep us on our heels, right? To keep things relevant, and then it goes right back into the flashback scene. So I cannot wait for episode 2 next week. As a matter of fact, I would predict that episode 2 is gonna start with him in a coma for like two seconds. We're gonna see that, then boom, and it's gonna take us back to Miami Metro 1991. Let me know in the comments below if you have any other theories involving the new characters, any unresolved plot points that have sparked theories, maybe some stuff you read online and now you're starting to make the connections here, any antagonists that we might see in future story arcs, any speculation. Do you think the Bay Harbor Butcher is going to be shown like a younger version of Brian? Do you think we're going to see that really soon? Also, do you think that this Original Sin is going to have a season 2? Like, do you think from now on it's gonna be Original Sin 10 episodes and then Original Sin season 2 10 episodes? Is this going to be a thing of its own for a while, or do you think this is a one-time thing? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And let's recap my final thoughts. Again, I'm giddy about the show. Was the episode perfect? The first time I saw it, I gave it a 10 out of 10, but that was probably just my hype. I also watched it on Paramount Plus, which has terrible quality, guys. Like, it was like at 720p no matter what I did. The second time I watched it, I watched it on Amazon Prime, since I got Paramount Plus as an add-on to Amazon Prime. When you watch it on Amazon Prime, it uses, I guess, Amazon servers, and it's like in freaking HD 4K or whatever. It just, it looks spectacular. So make sure, if you haven't seen it, watch it on the Paramount Plus section in Amazon Prime if you have the upgrade. So again, to recap, the show is called And in the Beginning. Episode 1, it serves as a compelling reintroduction to the Dexter universe. It blends nostalgia with fresh narratives. I think the casting was carefully... they did a very good job of casting actors that really did their homework when they studied, and when they studied the older versions of these characters in order to make the younger versions. I think they really did their homework, and they own it on camera. I was never distracted. I never felt like, they're trying too hard. Especially like Masuka was just dead on. I think they really did a great job with that. The atmospheric setting was impeccable. The character development shows promise. Overall, I think this is gonna be a must-watch. I'm already hooked. I can't wait. I'm actually excited that they didn't just give us the whole series all at once to binge. I like that it's gonna be a weekly thing, so we get to dissect it, we get to analyze it and talk about it, and look forward to the next show the following week. But I think for longtime fans, this show is gonna be an instant favorite. It definitely was for me. I'm definitely intrigued. The whole vigilante thing. I think the way they romanticized the psychopaths in Dexter is that, yeah, we all know the psychopaths have a bad reputation, and rightfully so. But it feels good to know that, hey, this guy's taking out the bad guys, and he has no empathy, and he has no care in the world for you. If you're a bad person, he's gonna take you out. He does not empathize with you. Is like, no. You screwed up. This is what you did. You hurt people. You took innocent lives, and you didn't care. And now you're gonna get what you deserve. And at the same time, he's getting his narcissistic supply, and that rush. He's feeling that rush when he takes out the bad guys, and he's sticking to the code of Harry. So I think it's awesome. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or you disagree. Give me your speculations and your theories. I would love to discuss it with you. If this is your first time in the channel, welcome to Psychopath Exposure. We analyze psychopaths and narcissists here, so be sure to like and subscribe if you liked this, and stay tuned because I'm probably gonna make another review of episode 2 next week and in the upcoming episodes on a weekly basis. So if you want to stay in the loop, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get notified when I drop the new video. So what did you think of the new portrayals? What did you guys think of the new characters? What do you predict is going to happen for the rest of the show? How do you think episode 2 is going to be? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, for what it's worth, at least we got some new Dexter, and that's all we could ask for. So hope you guys are having an awesome day. My name is Kita. This is Psychopath Exposure. See you guys in the next one.